You got big time celebrities that go around in their cars picking up trans, having with them, and then getting on national TV making fun of them. Our whole world is being run by undercover fags that run around talking about how straight they are.
But
I love my wife, and I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
Eddie Murphy tells E.T. that his wife and children were out of town, says he wanted something to read and went to a late-night newsstand. He stopped here and picked up the suspected transsexual at 4:45 in the morning.
many conspiracies came out that Murphy had Shalimar ended because her death just didn't make sense.
Do you believe Eddie Murphy was going to find a book to read at 4 in the morning with his wife gone out overseas? Man. I mean, just from your experience.
Eddie Murphy, that's bullshit. I'm Eddie Murphy. I watch all this movie, man, but man, you don't accidentally pick up a transvestite. You know what I'm saying?
And they went, what? Drag queen goes to bed with Eddie Murphy? Right. He's straight. I went, oh, please, give me one more.
Has he been with Eddie?
Murphy? Me?
Yeah. I'm not.
Eddie Murphy once told E.T. that his wife and kids were out of town, and he just wanted something to read, so he hit a late-night newsstand. But here's where it gets wild. At 4:45 in the morning, he supposedly picked up a suspected trans worker right there on the street.
Police say he is guilty of no misconduct, but there was a warrant out for the alleged prostitute. A judge has ordered that man, 20-year-old Addison Ciuli, to serve 90 days in jail.
Now the internet is straight up spiraling with claims that Eddie got away with something way darker. A trans woman named Shalimar, who was big in the underground LA scene back in the 90s, ended up losing her life under super shady circumstances. And guess what? Leaked footage from 1997 shows Eddie and Shalimar together shortly before it all went down. People been whispering about this for years, but now it's all resurfacing because never before seen clips of Shalimar and Eddie just dropped. And it gets even messier. New grainy videos from back then are surfacing too.
Oh yeah, after all these years that I just think, and they went, what? Drag queen goes to bed with Eddie Murphy? Right. He's straight. I went, oh please, give me one more.
Wait a minute. What do you think he was doing? What do you think the situation was? Let me hear your scenario.
Oh, not only Eddie Murphy,
many others. I know a lot of girls.
That
know a lot of girls.
What's the other? Eddie Murphy got arrested with a transvestite, transsexual, prostitute. Okay. Now, goody. That means she's gonna make some money, and he gets what he deserves.
Good.
That's all.
Good.
Yeah, that made him even a bigger star.
Yeah, and the poor little girl that's like crawling the streets, 4 o'clock in the morning to earn a living,
Like Divine.
What's his name?
Divine Brown.
Divine Brown. Yeah. She made a lot of money.
Yeah.
He should go right to all of the papers.
So you could get the same thing. You could be the same kind of thing.
But I don't want that.
But
I don't need it. I don't need
She doesn't need the money.
Hollywood Lawn is
She doesn't need the money.
The dirt tell she's been to bed with Eddie Murphy. And who else have you been to bed with?
Has he been with Eddie?
Murphy? Me?
Yeah. I'm not talking.
Now be honest, Hollywood Lawn. Now be honest with me. Look at me, girl. Look at me carefully. Now, did you been to bed with some of these stars in Hollywood now? You
She and Marlena.
She has too.
A lot of sleazy
Like
things.
sleazy, but
Showing other trans women from the scene who now say they were paid hush money by Eddie and a few other Hollywood insiders. But wait, there's another theory making noise online. Some folks think there's a bigger reason why so many top Hollywood names, including Eddie, have children who come out as trans. This month, it was revealed that Angel, the daughter of Eddie and Mel B, now lives as a trans man. Some say it's just life. Others are convinced it's part of a bigger exchange, like letting your kid transition publicly in return for silence or immunity from scandals in your past. And with these new receipts piling up, old interviews, grainy footage, even old tabloid mess, it really feels like Eddie's past is crawling back. Cops cleared Eddie of wrongdoing at the time, But the person he was with, 20-year-old Addison Ollie, had a warrant and was sentenced to 90 days. Still, everything's getting re-examined now, and the streets are watching. One of the wildest receipts in this whole situation, a long-lost interview with the late trans actress Holly Woodlawn. Back in the early 80s, Holly sold a story to the National Enquirer claiming she had a run-in with Eddie Murphy, and the very same week that article dropped, she filmed a tell-all video where she laid it all out. Eddie wasn't having it and ended up suing Holly and a few others for defamation. But here's the catch. That lawsuit? It vanished. Just dropped. No explanation. In that interview, Holly straight up laughed at Eddie's claim that he was into women only, especially after he got caught picking up a trans woman on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Actor and comedian Eddie Murphy has a run-in with the law this morning. In this case, it involves a transvestite prostitute. Reporter Juan Fernandez is live in Hollywood, California with the latest for us tonight. Juan?
Well, Al, when Eddie Murphy picked up this Hollywood hooker, he had no idea that right behind him were a pair of vice cops.
Deputies conducted a traffic stop of the car a few blocks away, at which time they learned that the driver was actor Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy was let go. Police say up to that point, nothing illegal had happened. But 20-year-old Addison Ciuli was cuffed and hauled away. A warrant was already out for his arrest.
And on May 29th, Judge Barry Taylor issued a warrant in the amount of $15,000 for his arrest and revoked his probation. He was brought to court today on that warrant.
She even dropped a bold hint that she and Eddie had hooked up once before. Wild, right? And remember when Holly mentioned a trans street worker who got picked up at 4 a.m. by Eddie? Yeah, she was talking about Shalimar Suli. Just recently, an old paparazzi video resurfaced that shows the exact moment Eddie's SUV got pulled over, with 20-year-old Shalimar sitting in the front seat, looking calm but alert. You can see her plain as day, and Eddie right beside her.
Murphy says he has often stopped to try to help prostitutes, but here is what he said in an impromptu news conference on the set of his new movie.
Being a good Samaritan blew up in my face, basically, what happened. I'm never giving anyone a lift again.
Here's the backstory. Shalimar Suli was a Samoan-born trans woman, crowned Miss Island Queen in 1993. She moved to LA chasing a dream of becoming a fashion designer. But when the industry didn't open its doors, she ended up working the streets on Santa Monica Boulevard. LAPD already knew her name. She wasn't new to them. So on May 2nd, 1997, when cops saw her hop into Eddie's SUV, they pounced. They pulled him over fast and grilled him for nearly 30 minutes. Eddie said he was just being generous, giving her a ride home, and swore he didn't know she was trans. But now that the footage is out, people aren't buying that story so easily anymore. Eddie eventually got let off the hook, but Shalimar wasn't so lucky. She was arrested on an outstanding warrant, and just like that, her run-in with Eddie exploded across national headlines. The media went crazy.
To read.
I love my wife, and I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
Eddie Murphy tells ET that his wife and children were out of town, says he wanted something to read and went to a late-night newsstand. He stopped here and picked up the suspected transsexual at 4:45 in the morning. He says he thought he was aiding a distraught woman.
Looks like a pretty Hawaiian girl in the corner crying. It looks like she was crying. She goes, oh, Eddie Murphy. And she noticed him at the light. She recognized Eddie Murphy. Oh my God. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you out here working the streets so late? She goes, oh, I'm on my way home. Can you give me a ride home?
Paparazzi and reporters swarmed her every move, chasing her from jail to court, flashing cameras, shouting questions. It was chaos. Meanwhile, Eddie was already working his PR magic. He hit the press circuit fast, flashing that trademark charm and painting himself as some kind of late-night hero. According to him, he was just a good Samaritan doing what he's always done, helping people in need. He even told the press he often stops to help sex workers.
A clip of Eddie Murphy right now is going viral of him back in the 90s talking about how his wife and kids left the house. He woke up at 4 a.m. and wanted to go find a book to read and end up picking up a transvestite. And he felt sorry for the transvestite, so he wanted to give the transvestite a ride home because the transvestite was crying, on a wall. He told that story to the media and they clapped, and this is going viral right now. Do you believe Eddie Murphy was going to find a book to read at 4 a.m. with his wife gone out overseas? I mean, just from your experience.
Eddie Murphy, that's bullshit. I'm Eddie Murphy. I watch all this movie, man, but man, you don't accidentally pick up a transvestite. You know what I'm saying? That ain't happening, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you did, first of all, man, you know what I'm saying?
Right a rap.
You know what I'm saying? All the money he got, man, why would you be on the strip picking up a transvestite, whatever you call it? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it. I think it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'll Eddie Murphy, but to me, that's some straight bullshit. Man, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? If I pick up, if I see a man, he dressed like a woman, and I see him, I'm not gonna feel sorry for him because
he was trying to be a good Samaritan.
But suppose he could be a robber. He might not be a real transvestite. I mean, he could be setting you up. A lot of dudes dress like women and they put makeup on and all this stuff, and they robbing these tricks out here.
But yes, really. At a surprise news conference on the set of his new movie, Eddie leaned into that narrative hard, but then it got even weirder. Eddie told Entertainment Tonight that he was out at 4 a.m. because he was looking for a book to read. You heard that right. He claimed he hit the Hollywood Strip before sunrise to find reading material. Who does that? And conveniently, his then-wife, Nicole Mitchell, she was out of the country. So Eddie said he figured it was a good time to take a stroll and find something interesting to read. Sure, Eddie.
A transgendered person who had claimed she had been with Eddie Murphy in the past I literally went to a bar that was, I can't remember the name of it, it was on Yucca, just south of Hollywood Boulevard, by that newsstand, the World News, where Eddie had stopped that night. Yes. And I sat at the bar. One night goes by, I'm friends with the bartender now, I'm tipping him well, I'm talking to him, and he finally got me to one of the women. And she said, oh yeah, I've been with Eddie. He likes, he has a foot fetish, and also carnal candy has been with him, and so and so and so and so. I went and I said, so what's the deal? And she said, well, the deal is that Eddie Murphy's lawyer, Marty Singer, who's in the news these days for other things, basically I told my story to the tabloids, and he paid me $15,000 to change my story. And I said, well, interesting. Okay, can you prove that? This woman kept records, and she handed me a check and her IRS, everything. She had everything. And it was signed by Marty Singer.
He told E.T. that with his wife and kids away, he decided to stop by a late-night newsstand. And that's when he picked up the suspected trans woman at 4:45 in the morning. According to Eddie, he just thought he was helping a distraught woman get home. But the public? They weren't buying it. Not then, and definitely not now. This whole story didn't make sense back then.
Our whole world is being run by undercover that run around talking about how straight they are. People are so busy wasting their time bashing when they can be doing something a lot more positive. These are the people you have to worry about.
And now, With all these new clips and witness claims coming out, it sounds even more insane.
You got big time celebrities that go around in their cars picking up having with them and then getting on national TV making fun of them. Everything you do in life is like a boomerang. When you throw it, it eventually comes back.
Octavia said even Pimp N. Ken had something to say. On Real Life Productions, he straight up laughed and said, Eddie knows nobody believes he was out at 4 a.m. trying to find a book. Come on now. But here's where the jokes stop, because it gets real dark. Almost exactly a year after her run-in with Eddie, on the morning of April 22, 1998, a dog walker stumbled on Shalimar Sooli's lifeless body. Lying face down on the sidewalk outside her Koreatown apartment in LA, police said she fell from the 5th floor. The autopsy? No drugs, no alcohol. They called it an accidental fall, blamed it on a misstep. Case closed. But here's where it gets shady. The coroner's report also mentioned that a neighbor heard a scream around 5 a.m., right around the time she died. That scream had people thinking twice. What if it wasn't just a fall? What if someone pushed her? Shalimar's friends and family weren't buying the accident label either. One of her close friends, a drag queen named Viva, told Village Voice, "Unfortunately, the cops don't want to investigate. To them, it's just another hooker." Viva said there's no way Shalimar just slipped and fell. Why haven't the cops looked into these things? She asked. And Viva wasn't alone.
That's how you...
A bunch of girls who worked the same scene as Shalimar came forward saying she'd been getting threats ever since her moment with Eddie hit the news. Strangers would roll up to her on the street and tell her to keep quiet. This wasn't just paranoia. Something was going on. Shalimar's brother David told Globe magazine that things got real bad before her death. According to him, Shalimar became paranoid, convinced a hitman was tailing her. Just hearing Eddie Murphy's name would send her into full-blown panic. She started bouncing from place to place, trying to outrun the fear. And word on the street, Shalimar was planning to go public. Not just about Eddie, but about other powerful Hollywood men who were known for picking up trans street workers. She was ready to talk. She even sat down with the National Enquirer while she was locked up, and the cash they paid her, that's what got her out on bail. In that interview, Shalimar didn't hold back. She called Eddie's whole story bogus and made it clear. He wasn't just trying to help. She said the exact spot where he picked her up on Santa Monica was a known hotspot for trans street workers. Everybody in the scene knew what that area was about, and she dropped a serious claim. The only reason Eddie didn't get hit with a solicitation charge was because he was famous. Shalimar told the Enquirer, "It's unfair. I went to jail while Eddie Murphy walked away spot-free." But that was just the start. After Shalimar's story hit the media, dozens of other trans women started speaking up with their own run-ins involving Eddie. And what did Eddie do? He clapped back. With million-dollar lawsuits, he sued the Globe, the National Enquirer, and even the New York Times, saying they were spreading lies. But here's the kicker. Every single lawsuit got dropped or settled quietly out of court. And the timing? Brutal. Eddie's career was already on shaky ground after multiple box office flops. And now all this heat was threatening to bury him. Some tabloid lawyers even speculated that Eddie backed down because he didn't want more women taking the stand if the cases went to trial. But Eddie didn't stop there. He brought in Hollywood's legal pit bull, Marty Singer, and hired private investigator Paul Bessie, known as a fixer. Their mission? Track down every trans woman tied to Eddie's name and make it disappear. Bessie allegedly got women to sign affidavits and record video retractions, denying it all. But investigative journalist Mark Ebner said otherwise. One of the trans workers showed him IRS receipts proving Marty Singer's firm paid her $15,000 to walk back her story about Eddie. And just like that, the silence had a price tag. For years, Eddie's team did everything possible to wipe this story from the spotlight. His PR machine went into full-blown cleanup mode, yanking interviews, erasing news clips, and doing damage control like their careers depended on it. But now, the receipts are crawling back, and fans aren't forgetting. One of the most talked about clips that recently resurfaced is an old interview with the late Octavia Saint Laurent, a legendary voice in the trans community. She didn't hold back when she called out Hollywood for being packed with down-low men, guys who bash the LGBTQ+ community in public while secretly living a whole different reality behind closed doors. Octavia didn't drop Eddie's name, but it was crystal clear who she meant. She referenced the Shalimar situation directly and even pointed to Boomerang, the movie where Eddie makes fun of trans women on screen. She laid it all out. Octavia said these men would regularly pay for time with gay men and trans women, but then flip the script and act all anti-gay in public. And to keep the illusion going, they'd hide behind this fake ladies' man image, having baby after baby with different women just to keep things looking normal. She said some of these guys even take out their own shame and anger on the women they date, and people are now using Diddy as the perfect example. But Eddie, after getting caught up in the scandal with trans street workers, it's like he went into image rehab mode overnight. Suddenly, he's out there parading around with one woman after another, new girlfriends every few months, and now he's got 10 kids with 5 different women. You do the math. But here's where it gets even messier. It just came out that Angel, Eddie's 18-year-old child with Spice Girl Mel B, now identifies as a trans man. Angel updated the bio on Instagram, making it clear he wants to be referred to as he, him. And that set off a whole new wave of speculation online. Some fans brought up an old theory that's been floating around for years, that certain Hollywood elites allegedly make deals involving their kids. The idea that some celebrities agreed to raise at least one child as trans, as part of some pact for fame, power, or silence around past secrets. Sounds wild to some, but others say it's no coincidence. They're pointing out how many big-name celebs have trans children, way more than the average. Even Cat Williams spoke on this recently, saying he predicted this would become a Hollywood trend. And then he went even further, hinting that there might be a ritualistic or even satanic side to it all. Now, whether you think that's just a wild theory or not, the timing of it all, from Eddie's past scandals to Shalimar's mysterious death to his daughter's public transition, it's got people looking at him real different. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Is there something deeper here that Hollywood's been hiding all along? Was Shalimar's death just a random tragedy? Or was she silenced before she could blow the lid off more powerful names? And this theory about celebs making secret deals to raise their kids as trans, does it sound like wild talk? Or is there truth hiding in plain sight? Let me know what you really think in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what we've got coming next. It's only getting crazier from here.